Hey everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And today we're going to do a basic lesson on recording an acoustic guitar into Studio One so you can get a great sound recording your acoustic guitar with no fuss and no muss. That's what we're going to do today. But before we get started, if you like what you see in the video, please consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new content that is coming up on the channel. Also, if this is your first time here, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com because I want to give you a free mixing course. It's worth $100. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And if you stick around till the end of the video, I'm going to give you something else for free. Now, we're talking about recording today, and we're talking about, happens to be acoustic guitar, and we're talking about recording into Studio One. So if you are a Studio One user and you are looking for an absolute beginner's basic recording course because you just got Studio One loaded up on your system, you have your audio interface, and you want to know how to record music in Studio One, make sure you check out my training course, Recording in Studio One Made Easy. Link will be in the description box below. And when you stick around till the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how you can get that course at a discounted price. It is the perfect basic recording course for anyone that's brand new to Studio One, whether you're recording acoustic guitar, electric guitar, drums, bass, vocals, what have you. Check out that course today. Link will be below. Okay, so here we are, acoustic guitar. So I get asked about this quite frequently about, hey Dave, when I'm recording my acoustic, is it best to use a microphone to record the acoustic, or if you have a pickup inside of your acoustic to record it, just plugging your guitar and plug it directly into your interface? Now, you can do that, you can plug your guitar in, but more times than not, whenever I have an opportunity to record an acoustic guitar, I want to do it with a microphone. That is always going to sound more full. It's usually going to sound a lot better. Those pickup systems that are in most acoustic guitars, even high-end acoustics, they're really made more for live performance. They're more of a convenience for live where you can't put a microphone on stage, especially if you're playing in a band situation. But typically you're not going to sound nearly as good as a good quality microphone. They're going to be thin sounding. They could be kind of metallic-y sounding depending on the quality of pickup that you get. So whenever possible, if you're at your home studio, you want to record with a microphone. Now, it really doesn't matter what kind of microphone you use. Today we're going to be using a large diaphragm condenser microphone by my good friends over at Roswell Audio. This is the Mini K87 microphone. An image will come up on the screen here. I've been working with Roswell microphone recently. They sent me a bunch of their microphones and we're going to do a bunch of shootouts on all their different mics. They make really great high-end, high-quality microphones at a super affordable price. I believe this Mini K87 is a little less than $500 US, which is fantastic. It's a beautiful microphone. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel because we're going to do more with Roswell's microphones in the future. But today we're just going to talk about recording acoustic, and I happen to have this up on the stand and we're going to use that. Roswell did send me this microphone for me to bring a review to you, not only in this video but in future videos. So I didn't pay for this microphone, but it's on loan. I got to send it back to them. So full disclosure, I didn't buy this microphone, but I like it so much I think I'm going to buy it from them. Anyway, here we go. So we have a microphone on a microphone stand. This happens to be a large diaphragm condenser microphone, a cardioid polar pattern microphone. We have it in this beautiful shock mount here, and some basic techniques on how to get a great acoustic guitar recording. So first and foremost, you want to be in the seated or standing position, however you feel most comfortable. This particular microphone, I have placed about a foot to a foot and a half away from the body of the guitar. Again, you can experiment with moving it further away if you want more of a room sound, or a little bit closer if you want more of a direct sound. But I find that typically 12 to 18 inches is usually a pretty good range. And where I typically will place this microphone, as you'll see here, hopefully you'll see this on the camera, the front of the capsule is facing or pointed directly at where the body the neck and the body kind of join here, which is right around the 15th fret. Now again, you can experiment with moving the microphone more towards the sound hole. That's going to typically give you a more boomy, a little bit warmer, fatter sound. And if you move it more towards the neck, you're going to get a little bit of a thinner sound. I typically like to point it directly right around the 15th fret. That gives you kind of a nice balance. But again, every acoustic guitar is going to sound a little different. Unlike an electric guitar where the pickups, is what giving you the majority of the sound, the wood in and of itself is not doing as much as the pickups and the amplifiers and such. With an acoustic, it's totally opposite, right? The construction of the guitar, the way it's built, the materials of the guitar, the type of top, the type of back, the type of sides that the guitar has, the type of material that's on the fingerboard and the neck, all of that is going to have a huge influence on the way an acoustic guitar sounds. Now, this is an Eastman acoustic. This is based on the Gibson J45. It has a mahogany back and sides and a spruce top, and it has a nice warm, fat, lot of low end in this guitar for a small bodied guitar. So if you experiment with your microphone, I know that putting it more towards the sound hole is going to get a little bit too warm, a little bit too bassy. Towards the 15th fret is usually a good starting point for me. So you should experiment with your acoustic. So you point your microphone at the acoustic, at the body of the guitar. About 12 to 18 inches away is a good starting point. Today we are using microphone cable going into our Universal Audio Apollo Solo interface. But whether you're using an Apollo, whether you're using a Focusrite, or one by our good friends over at PreSonus, one of their interfaces, it's all done the same way. Microphone goes into the interface. Interface is plugged directly into the computer via a Thunderbolt cable or a USB cable, depending on your interface. And when we're here in Studio One, you'll see it pop up on the screen. Here's a couple of tips that you want to be aware of when you're recording. So you want to make sure that you set up your I/O in Studio One to make sure that you have your input for channel 1, which is what we're using today on our interface. And again, all this goes in great detail, and I go through every single screenshot and show you in depth how to do this. If this is a little bit beyond where you're at, again, check the link in the description box below for that training course. But the main thing that you want to focus on is you want to make sure before we hit the record button and we start recording that when we're strumming our acoustic, typically at its heaviest points, right, in the song where we're going to be the most aggressive, that we want to make sure we set the input level on our audio interface. So on our input meter here in Studio One, we don't exceed about a -12 to -10 dB on the input meter. Okay, and you can see that here in Studio One. You can see my voice being picked up by the Roswell Mini K87 here. You can see my voice kind of coming in on the input meter, okay? When we're strumming the guitar, we want to make sure we don't exceed about a -12, -10. That is going to give us a nice conservative but a healthy enough signal to record into Studio One to where later on we can always turn it up or turn it down. And the main point is we don't want any digital clipping. We don't want to record the track too hot, because if you get a little too excited, a little too aggressive, and you get some digital distortion in that signal, you can have the perfect guitar performance, and guess what? That track could be non-usable, and you may have to re-record it again. So no matter what you're recording, no matter what instrument it is, including the voice, you want to make sure you set that input level so your most aggressive performance parts are around a -12, -10 dB at the hottest. We can always turn it up later. Every interface will be done a little differently. Typically, there'll be a gain pot or an input trim pot on your interface. You'll want to check that out. So as I kind of demonstrate here, I'm going to strum some chords here, and you'll see the input meter in Studio One. Let's see where it is. So we got Studio One here. We're not recording yet. All we're going to do is just strum to see do we have our input set correctly. Here we go. So it's right around that -10, -9 when I really dig into the guitar. Some may say it may be a little too hot. So I can actually turn down the input just to be a little bit more safe. So if I turn down the input here on our Apollo Solo, let's try that again. Keep your eye on the input meter. So you'll see there, I turned it down. Now even when I'm really hitting on that E chord pretty hard, we're less than a -12. We're right where we want to be. We're not too conservative. We're not too quiet. We're not too hot. We're not even coming close to clipping. This is a good recording level to record our acoustic guitar. So now, once we have the microphone placed where we want to be on the guitar, we have our input level. The next thing to do is record our acoustic. Now, one other thing to keep in mind, depending on especially if you're sitting down, when you're recording an acoustic or any time when you have something like this or even a voice where you have the microphone pointed at a very specific area of the instrument, you want to be careful in your performance that you're not kind of moving around, you're not kind of rocking out too much. You want to, when you're recording, you want to try play kind of steady. Make sure that we don't change the proximity between the microphone and the guitar itself. If we're turning to one side or another, if we're getting overly excited while we're performing, that is going to drastically change the way it sounds when it's recorded. We don't want that. Want to kind of stay steady, want to try to play as evenly as possible to try to get a nice performance. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to add our audio track here. We've done that in Studio One. You can see it on the screen. We're going to arm record it. We're going to hit record, and we're going to record a couple of cowboy chords here, and I'll show you how easy it is to record this guitar in Studio One. Here we go. And there we go, we hit stop, and now we have a performance in Studio One that has been recorded. And as you can even see, just by looking at the waveform that's recorded, it's not all the way at the top of the bottom. It doesn't look like it's clipping in any way. If anything, we're going to be able to turn this up a little bit when we get to the mixing portion of it, but it really is that simple. Just get yourself a microphone, point it at the guitar, experiment a little bit on where you want that placement. Okay, record yourself, go back and listen, and then you can make some finer adjustments. And once you understand what you like as far as the microphone placement and how far away you want to be from the guitar, you want to make sure that you set those levels -10, -12, right? So you don't have any chance of clipping, and then you can always turn it up later. So once again, if you want to learn more about how to record not only acoustic guitar, but electric guitar, electric bass, drums using drum loops, all in Studio One, whether you're using the Prime version of Studio One, the artist version of Studio One, or the professional version of Studio One, make sure you check out the link below at homerecordingmadeeasy.com and pick up the course Recording in Studio One Made Easy. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, I want to give you something else for free. So whether you want to pick up that course, Recording in Studio One Made Easy, or any of the courses at homerecordingmadeeasy.com, you want to go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, first get that free mixing course if you've never been there before. Then if you want to navigate to the training courses page and you want to check out any of the training courses on my website, I want to give you a 25% discount coupon code. Use the coupon code YouTube25. That will take 25% off any training course on the website, all the Studio One courses, as well as all the other courses I have on recording, mixing, mastering, EQ compression, and a partridge in a pear tree. So thank you so much for joining me for this video today on how we record an acoustic guitar. Thank you to Roswell Audio for sending me the Mini K87. And again, make sure you like, share, subscribe, because we are going, and hit that notification bell. because we are going to do a whole series of microphone shootouts with Roswell Audio. They've been really, really kind to send me a bunch of their microphones, and we're going to shoot them out on acoustic. We're actually going to also shoot them out on recording drums in the upcoming videos here in 2023 at Home Recording Made Easy. So thank you so much for watching me today. I've been Dave with HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. All the links will be in the description box below, and I will see you guys in the next video.